Man digging in his garden hits an unexpected metallic structure that leaves him in awe. Global epidemics have a way of giving us more time to tackle personal projects. A British man named John Brayshaw saw his time in coronavirus quarantine as the perfect opportunity to make some improvements to his backyard. He bought all of the supplies, planned out the work, and excitedly started the task, only to quickly learn there was something he never expected hiding in his yard. John Brayshaw, a Brit who worked in contract management, purchased his new home with the enthusiasm of any fresh homeowner. He had big plans for the new plot of land, and he loved the area he settled in. His home was located on the outskirts of the quaint town of West Yorkshire. It was a great spot that allowed for an easy commute into the center of town. However, John couldn't fully enjoy the new move just yet. The town of West Yorkshire, and frankly everywhere else in the world, was at a standstill due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But instead of succumbing to quarantine boredom, John planned on revamping his new home. John wanted to install a deck in his backyard, and this meant digging up a bunch of earth for the placement of the wooden beams. However, what John didn't bank on was clanking into a strange metal object underground. John's shovel struck something hard, and he stood there puzzled. What the heck was buried beneath his yard? Forget about the deck. He was intrigued with his new discovery. John loved that he now had something to take his mind off of the boredom of staying indoors. "I needed to do something to put my brain back into action," he said in an interview with The Sun. So he investigated. The more he dug around the mystery object, the more his fascination grew. Whatever it was way bigger than he had initially thought. Soon enough, the frame of something came into view. What started as a basic backyard project was now unfolding into a large lawn excavation, and John couldn't wait to see what his efforts would yield. It seemed all the hard work he was putting in would pay off big time. It looked as though the metal object his shovel hit was some kind of door. In fact, the frame seemed like it could belong to a car even. Then John found something that confirmed his guess. It was a license plate. There was a car buried in his lawn after all. This was obviously something the realtor that sold him the home never mentioned, likely because even they had no idea it was there. But now, John had tons of questions. Was the entire car buried, or just a few random parts? John's mind was a flurry of excitement as he sat next to the eroded, twisted metal frame. Little by little, he dug out more pieces and laid them out on the grass. He pulled out more and more hunks of metal, the remains of a vehicle that somehow ended up in his backyard. He had no idea how long the car was there for, but much of it was still in pretty good shape considering its location. Obviously stunned at his finding, John admitted, "I never for a second thought that I'd ever find something like this. It's one of those things that you literally have to see it to believe it." He inspected the vehicle a little more closely. Several of the car's gauges were actually still visible on the rusted dashboard. Once enough of the vehicle was finally unearthed, it became clear exactly what kind of vehicle it was. It was a 1950s gray Ford Popular, often called the Pop for those who owned them, and the one John found was manufactured in 1955, but that didn't explain why the previous owner gave it such a bizarre send-off. According to BBC News, one theory is that at the time the price of steel had dropped so far you had to pay to have scrap taken away. Someone strapped with cash may have buried it to save money. Of course, many other people had their own theories. Some even believed the model John found was used for secretive military purposes, and perhaps the one in the yard was used in some kind of spy plot. No one knew for sure what happened, but John was more than willing to accept whatever assumptions people threw at him. One thing the discovery did do was completely take John's mind off the pandemic. John is determined to get to the bottom of the backyard mystery, though getting all the answers he seeks may be even more complicated than he'd like. Treasures found in the area usually come with a lot of questions.